Before we open this file, if you enjoy these stories, please subscribe to the Eris Files. It really helps me keep making new files for you. My wife called me paranoid in front of our marriage counselor. According to her, I had become suspicious, controlling, and obsessed with finding proof of something that was not happening. I sat there and let her speak. When she finally finished, I placed my phone on the table between us. Then I pressed play. My name is Daniel Mercer, and my wife's name was Claire. We had been married for 11 years. For most of that time, I thought we were solid. We hosted dinners for our friends. We remembered birthdays. We could usually tell what the other person was thinking from one look across the room. Claire used to say our marriage worked because we did not keep secrets. I believed her. The problem with secrets is that they do not always announce themselves. Sometimes they start with a phone turned face down, a password that suddenly changes. One late meeting that becomes two, then three. Claire worked as a regional manager for a medical supply company. Her job involved travel, so I was used to seeing a suitcase near the bedroom door. Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia. None of that seemed strange at first. Then the Thursday meetings started. Every Thursday, Claire told me she had a video conference with the company's West Coast office. Because of the time difference, she usually came home after 9. I never questioned it. Not until the night she forgot a contract on the kitchen table. I called her office to let her know. The receptionist answered and told me Claire had already left. Wasn't she staying for the West Coast meeting? I asked. The woman went quiet for a moment. Then she said, I don't know anything about a meeting. Claire got home around 9:30. I was in the kitchen when she walked in. How was the meeting? I asked. She took off her coat without looking at me. Exhausting. I called your office. She stopped moving. Only for a second, but I noticed. You called my office? You left the contract here. And you asked them where I was? The receptionist said you left before 6. Claire gave a small laugh and shook her head. The meeting was moved to a restaurant. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't think I needed your permission to have dinner with my colleagues. I had not said anything about permission. She had. That became her way of dealing with every question. When I asked why she had changed the password on her phone, I was invading her privacy. When I asked why she had started taking calls outside, I was monitoring her. When I found a parking receipt from a hotel 20 miles from her office, I was going through her belongings. There was always an answer. The hotel hosted a conference. The phone calls involved private company matters. The new password was required by work. Any one of those explanations could have been true. The problem was hearing all of them together. They sounded prepared. Still, I wanted to believe her. That was the part I struggled with most. I wanted 11 years of marriage to mean more than a hotel receipt and a locked phone. I wanted to feel foolish for doubting her. Claire started telling other people that I was having a hard time. She told her sister my job was making me insecure. She told 2 of our friends I had become jealous for no reason. I found out because people began asking whether I was sleeping enough. One evening, after dinner with another couple, Claire suggested marriage counseling. I agreed immediately. That seemed to catch her off guard. I think she expected me to refuse. By then, she had already built a version of me for other people. In that version, I was angry, irrational, and unwilling to get help. Agreeing to counseling did not fit the story. Our counselor was named Dr. Evelyn Warren. During our first session, Claire cried. She said she felt watched in her own home. She said I examined every change in her schedule. She said I had turned ordinary business trips into evidence of an affair. Dr. Warren looked at me. Do you have any proof? No, I said. Claire wiped her eyes and whispered, because there's nothing to find. I remember sitting there feeling ashamed, not because I believed her, because I could not prove that I did not. After the session, Claire held my hand in the parking lot. "I need you to stop doing this to us," she said. Doing this to us, as though the damage had started with my questions. For the next 2 weeks, I stopped asking them. I did not mention Thursday nights. I did not ask why she showered the moment she came home. I said nothing when she carried her phone from one room to another, even when she was only walking to the kitchen. Claire relaxed. And once she relaxed, she became careless. One Saturday morning, she left her laptop open on the counter. A notification appeared in the corner of the screen. Thursday was worth the wait. It disappeared almost immediately. When Claire returned, I asked who was. She looked at the laptop, then at me. "Marcus, from accounting." "What happened Thursday?" Her expression changed. She did not look nervous. She looked annoyed. "You said you were going to stop." "I saw the message." "You saw part of a work conversation. What was worth the wait?" Claire closed the laptop. "I'm not doing this again." Then she used the word for the first time. "Daniel, you're becoming paranoid." After that, she used it whenever I noticed something. Paranoid. If I remembered a contradiction, I was paranoid. If I asked a simple question, I was paranoid. She said it so often that I started wondering whether she was right. Then came the night of the recording. Claire told me she was having dinner with her sister, Melissa. I knew the restaurant they usually went to. Around 8, the house phone rang. It was Melissa. "Is Claire there?" she asked. I did not answer right away. Melissa realized what she had done. "Oh, I must have mixed up the nights." Claire came home shortly after 10. I was sitting in the living room. She smiled when she saw me. "Why are you still awake?" "How was Melissa?" "Fine." "What did you eat?" She named a dish from their usual restaurant. "Did Melissa have a good time?" Claire put her purse on the table. "Why are you asking me like that?" "Because Melissa called here 2 hours ago." The color drained from her face. Then, just as quickly, she recovered. "She called you?" "She asked if I knew where you were." Claire laughed and shook her head. "Melissa drinks too much. She probably forgot." She sounded sober. "Of course she did." "Where were you?" The smile disappeared. She said I had set a trap. She said I had been sitting there waiting for her to make a mistake. She said normal husbands did not interrogate their wives after dinner. I reached for my phone. Not to call anyone. To open the voice recorder. I had started recording some of our arguments. Not because I thought I would catch her admitting to an affair. Claire had a habit of denying the exact words she used. She would tell me I remembered things incorrectly or misunderstood her tone. The recordings were for me. I needed to know I was not imagining the conversations. I pressed record and placed the phone beside me. "Where were you, Claire?" She stared at me. I'm not explaining myself to someone who has already decided I'm guilty. Then she walked upstairs. I stayed in the living room. The recorder was still running. A few minutes later, I heard the bedroom door close. Then Claire's voice came through the heating vent. She was on the phone. At first, I could only hear pieces of the conversation. Then the house went quiet, and her words became clear. "She called the house, Marcus." There was a pause. "No, Daniel doesn't know." Another pause. "He suspects, but that's all." My whole body went cold. The phone was still recording. Claire continued. "I told you, as long as we keep calling him paranoid, he doubts himself." I stopped breathing. For weeks, I had wondered whether I was losing my grip on reality. Now I was listening to my wife explain how she had made it happen. Claire laughed quietly upstairs. No, he won't leave. Daniel needs certainty before he does anything. Then she said something I was not prepared for. Once the account is ready, I'll tell him I need space. We can sell the house before he realizes where the money went. The money. I did not understand that part yet. But I understood Marcus. I understood Thursday nights. I understood every moment she had looked at me and made me feel ashamed for noticing what was right in front of me. Her voice came through the vent one more time. I love you too. The call ended. I stopped the recording. Then I sent the file to my email. I uploaded another copy to cloud storage. The next morning, I saved it to a flash drive and locked it inside my desk at work. Claire came downstairs about 20 minutes later wearing pajamas. Are you coming to bed? I looked at her. For the first time in months, I did not ask a question. In a minute. The following morning, I called an attorney. Her name was Rebecca Sloan. I brought the recording to her office. She listened without interrupting. When it ended, she asked about the account Claire had mentioned. I don't know anything about it, I said. So we started looking. Claire and I had a joint savings account for retirement and repairs to the house. Over the previous 6 months, $38,000 had been transferred out in smaller amounts. I had not noticed. Claire handled most of the monthly bills, and the transfers had been spread out carefully. The money went to an account connected to a business called Morrow Ridge Consulting. The owner was Marcus Reed. Marcus from accounting. The same man whose message was supposedly part of an innocent work conversation. Rebecca told me not to confront Claire yet. We collected everything. Bank statements, transfer records, company documents, emails, the recording. I placed it all inside a black folder. On the label, I wrote, File number 014. Our next counseling session was 4 days later. Claire arrived calm and prepared. Dr. Warren asked how the week had gone. Claire let out a slow breath. Not well. Then she said I had confronted her again. She called my behavior obsessive. She said my paranoia had become emotionally abusive. I sat beside her and listened. She sounded completely sincere. That was the worst part. Claire turned toward me. I can't keep proving my innocence to someone determined to misunderstand me. Dr. Warren asked whether I wanted to respond. I placed my phone on the table. Claire looked at it. Her expression changed. I don't need you to prove anything, I said. Then I pressed play. Her voice filled the room. She called the house, Marcus. Claire went still. As long as we keep calling him paranoid, he doubts himself. Dr. Warren looked at her. Claire looked toward the door. The recording continued. The secret account. The plan to sell our house. The missing money. Then the final words. I love you too. I stopped the audio. I was not paranoid. Claire started crying. Loudly. She said Marcus had manipulated her. She said the money was not really gone. She said they had only been discussing possibilities. I opened file number 044. First, I placed the bank statements on the table. Then the company registration. Then the transfer history. Her crying stopped. You went through our accounts? Our accounts, I said. She turned to Dr. Warren as though the counselor might defend her. Dr. Warren said nothing. Claire asked whether it had been legal for me to record her. I think our attorneys can discuss that. Then I stood up. She followed me into the hallway. She said we could fix the marriage. She said Marcus meant nothing. She said the affair had only lasted 8 months. Only 8 months. As though adding a limit made it less real. I asked why she had taken the money. Claire said she was afraid I would leave her with nothing. She stole from our marriage because she was worried about what might happen when I discovered she had betrayed it. The divorce took 10 months. The money was frozen before Claire and Marcus could move it again. Most of it was recovered. Marcus disappeared from her life as soon as lawyers became involved. Claire later told me he had promised they would start over together. Apparently, his plans changed when bank records and financial disclosures became part of the relationship. Claire sent me letters. She apologized for the affair, for the money, for lying to our friends, and for making me question my own sanity. That last apology was the only one that felt honest. Not because it fixed anything. It simply described what she had done. A year after the divorce, I moved into a smaller house near a lake. The rooms were quiet. At first, the silence made me uncomfortable. Then I realized peaceful silence feels very different from the silence created by secrets. I stopped recording conversations. I stopped checking whether my memories were correct. I stopped gathering evidence before asking ordinary questions. One evening, I found the flash drive inside an old box. The recording from file number 014 was still on it. For a moment, I thought about listening again. Instead, I deleted it. Not because it had stopped mattering, because I no longer needed Claire's voice to tell me I had been right. She called me paranoid. She repeated it until I almost stopped trusting myself. But the recording exposed more than an affair. It proved that my confusion had been created on purpose. Claire called me paranoid. Then I played the recording. The affair ended. The money came back. And the man she had spent months trying to confuse finally trusted his own voice again. File number 014 was closed. The recording was deleted. The truth no longer needed to be saved. Another file closed. Another secret exposed. If you enjoyed this file, leave a like and subscribe to the Eris Files. It really helps the channel grow. Every betrayal leaves a file.